Hello, I'm Mr. Hare. I'm part of the Birkin Hare House of Horrors team, and today I'd like to do a quick movie review of a fantastic film I've watched, and it's been released recently this year. HP Lovecraft's The Colour Outer Space. So this is a Richard Stanley film, so this is one of the first films he's directed for quite a while. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I'm a massive fan of HP Lovecraft. And I'd love to see more of Lovecraftian horror actually adapted into the big screen. So, my first overall impressions of the movie, by just picking up the DVD itself, was, I can see it's got Nick Cage in, the kind of producers of Mandy. I mean, my biggest initial fear was Nick Cage was probably going to go full Nick Cage in it. You know, we've all seen the scenes of The Wicker Man where he punches the woman dressed as a bear and screams, "No, not the bees," but yeah. Luckily in this movie, he has toned it down, he is subdued in it, but I suppose in this case, with the movie itself, with Lovecraft, the characters often do descent into madness, so it is kind of interesting to see that. However, I suppose with Nicolas Cage, I can kind of believe he's half mad to begin with. But a good thing about this movie is, it feels fresh. It's a fresh take on the movie. It offers a whole new genre of horror, which I do think it's not really been touched yet. Which, cosmic horror, brilliant. I suppose lately, with most horror movies we've kind of got lately, it seems to be kind of like the Conjuring universe style of jump scares, which I'm not going to deny it. I'm bored. Every time you kind of know it's coming. You know, they're quick 5, 4, 3, 2, bleh. That's it, and it's just the same scare repeated over every movie, and it's the point where you're like, yep, it's coming, yep, well, yep. Whereas The Colour Outer Space, though, isn't. The film is kind of written, so it's more focus on the character development themselves. So what you've got is a family. That's kind of, they've been through hard times. The mother's just recently recovered from breast cancer. The family just adjusting to their new farm life, and it's kind of interesting to see them. Each one's basically at their own different stages. The father's trying to adjust to the farm life while growing tomatoes, and yes, no word of a lie, Nicolas Cage attempts to milk an alpaca. Yes, you heard it, he does try to milk an alpaca. But the mother, of course, you said, recovering from breast cancer, it's just her, like, adjusting back to normality. The son's a pothead. Yeah, he's a pothead. The daughter's a Wicca, who does rituals to try and normalise her life. And the youngest son, probably the quietest, is just trying to make sense of it all. So, as they're adjusting to their normal farm life, a meteorite comes from outer space and crashes down, but not before emitting brilliant bursts of colour which people have never seen before. The colour outer space. From there on, things get strangely weirder. Sorry, weirdler. Never heard of that word. Weirder. But I'm not going to go any further into detail, but as I said, the film is expertly shot. There are many visuals that made me go, wow, that is completely amazing. In fact, there's one scene in it, I'm not going to go into detail, but for me it's the purest Lovecraftian scene I've ever seen. And it's probably the one that made me go, yeah, they've nailed it. They've actually done it. And I suppose with HP Lovecraft himself, complicated fellow, but I mean, he did have his flaws, but the stories he did were great. Kind of like a look into the tormented mind of Lovecraft. But this film perfectly nails the story, and this is supposedly the first in the trilogy of Lovecraft adaptations. All I can say in this case, if this is the first one, I can't wait to see what they have in mind for the second one. Because, wow. I'm loving the fact is, it's not just cosmic horror, it's also a psychological horror as well. You see the family's slow descent into madness, how the characters kind of like adjust to this, and these characters kind of go throughout their own ups and downs in their own personal journey in a weird way. I mean, some are more fleshed out than others, but it is really good sight to see. I mean, I'm not going to deny it. I think for myself, this is probably one of my favourite horror movies of this year. It's only been surpassed by The Lighthouse. Then again, we've not really had many horror movies to 2020, but yeah, down the Rona. But all I can say is, for me personally, it's a film definitely worth watching. It's not like any of the horror movies we've got on the day and age. In fact, this is probably one of the most unique horror movies I've seen for a while. And what I mean by unique, it really is unique. I don't know what else to say about it, but just, you need to watch this. If you want to see pure cosmic horror, a pure adaptation of Lovecraft, something that's not just a quick, oh look, Annabelle's jumped out of the doll case again, or oh look, a ghost is going to make me jump, or look, it's Jason walking across the hockey mask, but no, it's something that you can't explain, something that you don't know what it is, and seeing people's descent into the madness, it kind of brings me back to the more artsy kind of horror movies, which I think we've all seen in most recent years that have been real fantastic, like Hereditary, The Witch, The Lighthouse. All brilliant movies, which I think this movie kind of channels in a way with the character relationships. So these character relationships aren't just paper thin, they're actual, you can actually believe this is a family that's been through hard times. There are some dialogue issues at times. I think Nick Cage himself, good in the role, but I kind of find his character a bit harder to follow than the others. So it was kind of interesting to see. I kind of wished it had kind of formed him slightly bit more, but other than that, the film's brilliant. And I'm happy to give that a 9 out of 10. Viewer beware. You're in for a fucking awesome time. You'll take care now. Goodbye.